All right, I am setting up my record. I am sharing my screen, and I am welcoming my good friend Sarah Fryman, who is zooming in from Philadelphia. And I am going to introduce you to her now and say, Sarah, would you tell people what you're doing in Philadelphia and then see what we want to talk about today?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Heather said, I'm Sarah. I am a second year MDiv student at United Lutheran Seminary, studying to be a pastor. So, yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, when I asked you if you wanted to do this, you said yes, and you knew right away what song you wanted to ask about. So tell me what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, I really connected with Enter Here. And I have a couple of questions. The first one is the track listing. So you start off with this very emotional song, like it got me in my feelings when it started. So I'd love to hear how you listed everything, like what the like how you chose the order.
Do you want to do that before we do the lyrics? Let's talk
Sure.
about the lyrics first, and then we can talk about because the order answer is simple. I just knew that that was going to be the order from the beginning. And if you
Hmm.
track it, you're going to hear that there's really an arc from the entry point, the welcome to the journey, all
Yeah.
the way to the end where we close off in this Irish pub celebrating,
Mhm.
Um, and it was never tactical that way. I just knew, and so it was. But
Mm.
the enter here obviously is the first invitation. So is there a certain piece of the lyric that interests you?
Yeah, the second half of the first verse, shards and shames we never asked for, ancient pain still deep inside.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. So that one is, I think, is so deep. I'm glad you asked about it because enter here, I kind of first heard on the first week I was in my spiritual direction class, a 2-year formation class, and I just met all these new people. And when you go meet a bunch of people and they tell you your stories, and I just was listening to story after story after story and going, oh my gosh, who are the people who felt like they were happy? Who are the people who felt like they belonged? Who are the people who had the easy way? Everyone had these sense of struggles of
Mm.
not being included, of being on the outside, of being damaged by parents or loved ones, or a lot of these people by the church, by teaching them bad things and making it harder for them to know God. And I was just kind of pondering all that. And then I just could hear the song. I just heard the whole first verse. But I think the shards and shames thing is just picturing us, with these little broken things all in our bodies. I'm almost looking at your backdrop, right?
Mm.
You've reshaped them in this beautiful mosaic, which is glorious, but it's not glorious when we're just sitting here with all this stuff in us that's hidden, and sometimes we don't even know it's there. But what we do know is that it's from those wounds in our childhood, which were probably wounds being passed on from our parents being wounded in their child, and the grandparents, and back and back and back and back. And it just keeps getting pushed forward, this damage, this pain, this way we hurt each other and ourselves. And it's from those wounds that we then seek whatever it is we seek. We desire things to try and feel better about that. So maybe it's going to be power or money. If I just am successful enough, then this won't hurt anymore. If I can just numb myself, this won't hurt anymore. All the different kinds of addictions. Or if I just judge those people and put those people down and I feel better about myself, then I won't hurt anymore. But of course, none of those things actually work. None of those things actually help. And we're all just this great playground of kids. Like imagine when we were 7 years old, whatever was happening there, it's still happening just at a much higher level, right? And
Mm.
so that source of wounding in the ancient thing, okay, so the ancient is, okay, it's a generation, it's 2 generations, but it's all the way back to the garden. It's all the way back to sibling rivalry that ends up in murder and temptresses and good kings and bad kings. And the lineage of the human family is full of pain and mess and suffering. And the idea that we can just, well, that has nothing to do with me. I've got my own life. I'm doing good. You've inherited it. It's in the DNA of the human story.
Mm.
We're all part of it, and there's no escaping it. And then you've got this wonderful language, and since you're married to an actor, you'll appreciate it. The enter here, the wounded savior. I remember that phrase coming to me, and I thought, well, of course, that's how you say it in a play or in a screenplay. Enter here, the Tin Woodsman. Enter
Mm.
here, the stepmom, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? So it's almost like in this narrative, this play, enter here, the wounded savior. And that phrase obviously works in 2 ways. It's the savior of the wounded, all of us. all of us, all people with a pulse, right? All of us, but also the Savior who was wounded himself, right? God became man who suffered and died and rose for us. And so I think that is why people are responding to this song, because so often what you hear from the church, either in teaching or in music and stuff, already comes from a point of view of like being on the inside. You know, I already know the words, and so I'm going to sing the words. Here's the doctrine in a hymn, or here's the feels, here's all the feels, I love Jesus, blah, blah. But if you're on the outside, what's speaking to you? And I can't tell you how many people who are not, the woman who sings the song, Rachel, is not a Christian. She's Jewish by birth, but not practicing anything, and she would consider herself spiritual, but not religious. And she has found more meaning in this song than in almost anything else. So does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? Oh, look, I did so much talking. I already went over my limit. Oh, will you mind terribly if I cut us off now so I can make good on my promise to people?
No, you're great. It's fine.
I love seeing you, and I can't wait until I can see you and Cedric again soon, and maybe you'll come to the Faith and Film Festival virtually, and we'll see
That'd
you
be great.
online. Good luck with your studies.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Bye.
You too. Bye.